Hi, this is Tutor Nick P, and this is Interjection 33. The interjection today is Hasta La Vista. Okay, somebody wants a screenshot? Do it right now. Let's get right to it. If someone says Hasta La Vista, in English, it means goodbye, see you later, until the next time, etc. Let's continue. Hasta La Vista derives directly from Spanish. In fact, it is a very common phrase in Spanish. Yeah. When I was in school, I learned Spanish, and this was even before it was commonly used in English. And I always remember this phrase, hasta la vista. So let's continue. The word hasta in Spanish means until. All right, there's another thing that you should note. A lot of times the H in Spanish, especially when it begins a word, is sometimes silent. So in hasta la vista, the H is silent. We don't say hasta, we say hasta. So hasta in Spanish means until. So it is the word for until in Spanish. La is the feminine article for the in Spanish. Yeah, in a lot of Romance languages, in Spanish, French, Italian, they have masculine and feminine nouns. And if it's a feminine noun, the is la. So that's why we say la, hasta la vista. All right, let's continue. Okay, good. And vista means the visit. It is commonly used as goodbye, but the most direct translation is actually see you later, because it really means until the visit. So see you later would probably be the best translation in English. Since the U.S. has such a huge Spanish-speaking population due to immigration over the decades, it is not surprising that many Spanish terms are used in everyday English. Yeah, I think a long time ago, a few years ago, I did a YouTube video where I pointed out, probably at least about 10 or so words or expressions that it's used so much in English of Spanish words that it is like English. Almost every American knows them, and almost every American sometimes will throw them in. We often do it for humor, too. A lot of times when Americans use foreign words mixed in their English, it's usually kind of as a joke or sounds funny. Let's continue. All right, good. So where are we? So Spanish terms, yeah, so English translation. The first person to popularize it in English goes back to the comedian Bob Hope, who's, of course, he's dead now, but he was very, very popular for many years. He often used to go and entertain the soldiers if they were at war, who delivered the line, hasta la vista, baby, and he actually said the baby, too, said to the sexy actress Raquel Welch, of course, when she was much younger. She was one of those, sort of sex symbol sort of actresses. At the beginning of the Rocky Raccoon tribute to Raquel Welch. So he's one of the first people that started, making it more common in everyday English. He started using it that way. And then it's been used a number of times. But I'll just jump right to this one. However, the number one person to popularize this phrase was Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 1991 film Terminator 2. This film alone solidified, made it completely solid or strong, the Spanish interjection to become an English interjection. So after this movie, everybody said hasta la vista, even though it was, kind of common before that too. That's why it was actually worked into into the movie and into the scene. It kind of sounded funny, but definitely Arnold, made it for sure that everybody knew it. All right, let's continue. The famous director of Terminator, now remember there was a Terminator series, especially the first 3 movies were very good. And James Cameron, very famous director, you probably even know him more for some other movies. I think he did Titanic, right? Titanic and Avatar, just to name a few. So he's a really, really big director. James Cameron admits he was working out and heard the song Wild Thing from the rapper Tone Loc, the rap song, and decided to use it in his film. So this is why he used it. That's why he put the line in the movie. That's why Arnold Schwarzenegger said it. And then that's why it became so even more common as an everyday expression in English. All right, let's continue and just give you 3 examples of the way we might hear it used. Here's the first one. I need to go now. Hasta la vista. Okay, good. Number 2, the boy who played the John Connor character. Yeah, remember, I don't know if you know or are familiar with the Terminator series. Supposedly it was in the future. He sends, the Terminator back to protect the John Connor as a young boy. And actually, the first Terminator was supposed to kill the mother who played Sarah, was supposed to be Sarah Connor in the movie. So it is kind of an interesting movie, very futuristic movie. All right, anyway, let's continue now. So the boy who played John Connor character taught the cyborg, because remember, Arnold actually played a cyborg. In the first movie, he was the bad guy, and they did a really good job of turning him into the good guy in the second and third movie. Played Arnold, the phrase hasta la vista, to sound more natural. Yes, because he was very robotic, and he was supposed to be the bodyguard protecting the young kid, and he says, hey, you got to fit in, you got to start saying terms like this, the ones that's common in everyday English. And he's the one that actually taught the Arnold character to say hasta la vista, so every time it would be said with the Arnold's English German accent, basically. All right, anyway, let's continue. And the last one, number 3. In the U.S., people often use hasta la vista as a humorous way to say goodbye. Okay, anyway, I hope you got it. I hope it's clear. I hope it's informative. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.